guys, welcome. Today we'll be talking about how to use bird as a classifier. So for that we'll be working on this Kaggle problem. So I have already created a notebook on that problem. So we'll just go through that, right? So guys, here we are just importing all required libraries like pandas, numpy, matplotlib, sklearn, transformer, right? Word cloud, string, tensorflow, everything. So here we are just keeping a seed value of 1550. So guys, you can keep any value here. I have taken just a random value. Okay, after importing, let's read the data file. So this is our training data and this is our test data. You can see we have ID, keyword, location, text and target. So guys, I forgot to tell you something here. So here in this problem, we are predicting like if a tweet is real or not with respect to disaster. Like 1 if the target is 1, then whether a tweet is real or not. 1 is real and 0 is not. So here you can see like these are disaster tweets. So this is our training data and this is our test data. So now after that, let's do some EDA. Like here our training data has 7613 rows and 5 columns. Our test data has 3263 rows and 4 columns. So after that, here we are plotting the imbalance in the data set, in the training data set. So this is the function to print these values on the bar plot, like these values 4000 and 3000, right? So we are using this function to print the values on this bar plot. So guys, you can go through this code. This is very simple. Like this is the value, this is the x position, this is the y position, and we are just annotating the value. So here you can see like we have 57.0% for not real and 43.0% for real. So okay, it is an imbalance data, but not that much imbalance, right? Okay, we can adjust. So after that, let's create some meta features like word count, unique word count, mean word length, length of the tweet, URL count, hashtag count, mention count, stop word count and punctuation count. So we are creating all those meta features here. Like we are using lambda function, then we are creating according to that, right? You can see we are replacing find all HTTPS, then count that and create a URL count. So we are creating meta features for both train and test data set. So here we have created all meta features. You can see here, right? You can see target, word count and everything. So to get a better understanding, let's plot them. So here these are our meta features. These are all columns. Then these are our meta features we have listed above. Now here we are plotting everything. You can see, guys, go through this code. This is very simple. We are just using this plot. So this side, on the left side, you can see on the left side the graph is plotted with respect to target variable, that is red for non-disaster tweet and green for disaster tweet. On the right side, the graph is plotted with respect to data set, like blue for training data and yellow for test data. So let's focus on the left side first. You can see like word count is giving a clear distinction between disaster and non-disaster tweet. You can see the distribution here. Same thing goes for unique word count, mean word length and tweet length. Here also we are getting a distinction between disaster and not disaster tweet, but that is not much clear. If you compare this graph with this graph, these are not much clear, right? So this is also a clear graph. You can see here, this is also a clear graph. But overall the distribution is same for disaster and non-disaster tweets. On the right side also the distribution is same, almost same for train data and test data. As the distribution they look almost same for train data and test data. The sample is from the same collection of data. Whatever we have discussed now, I have written everything here. So after that, we are doing here text cleaning. So in text cleaning, we are removing URLs, we are expanding abbreviations, we are removing special characters, typos and slangs are corrected. Then characters entities are replaced with the actual symbols. So hashtags are removed, right? Punctuation marks are removed. So here we are doing everything. Like we are creating a function here special characters are removed, then contractions like abbreviations are expanded, right? You can see contraction his become he is. Then same thing guys, we are doing everything like here entity reference, then slang or informal abbreviation are corrected, then hashtag or usernames these are removed. After doing everything, we are converting the tweet into a lowercase, then we are returning the tweet. So here we are applying that function, that clean function on the train data and test data. So guys, here I am using tqdm.pandas and here progress underscore apply instead of only apply, because if you do this, if you import tqdm, then if you do tqdm.pandas, you can see we have imported tqdm here. Yeah, tqdm.auto notebook import tqdm. So if you do that, you will be getting this kind of progress bar. So if you don't use progress apply and tqdm, you won't be getting this progress bar. So after cleaning everything, this is our train data set and this is our test data set. You can see, so this is the old tweet and this is the clean tweet. You can see hashtags are removed and everything is smaller case, same thing, right? So after that, let's do a word cloud. So here you can see we are creating a word cloud here, right? So yeah, this is our real disaster tweet and this is our not real disaster tweet. You can see the dominating word here and here also. So after that, here we are checking for mislabeled sample. So what are these mislabeled samples? So let's say we have a tweet which is present more than once. So for this data set, either a tweet is labeled as 1 or 0, right? It cannot be labeled as both 1 and 0. So that's what we are checking here. So here first we are grouping the whole data set according to tweet. Then we are counting unique values for each columns, right, according to the group. Then we are sorting the values according to target. So if for a single tweet, if the target value is more than 1, then it has multiple values, like it has mislabeled values. So we are checking that also. We are sorting the values by target. Then we are checking the condition here. Now we have found these tweets have multiple labels. So we are correcting those tweets here manually. You can see we are manually applying 0 here, 0, 1, 1. So after this, we are done with tweet cleaning. Now let's convert the dataset into a format that understandable by BERT. Guys, I have used this BERT tokenizer from Transformer library to create tokens, but using those tokens, I was not getting very good result. So that's why I am using another tokenization from GitHub repository of TensorFlow. So here I am loading the tokenization and now I am loading the BERT model. So here we are loading vocab file, then do lowercase. This is another file required from the BERT layer by this tokenization to do the full tokenization work. So here we are creating a full tokenizer and we are using vocab file and do lowercase file we have just imported from the BERT layer. Guys, you know that our neural network needs inputs of fixed length, but here we have sentences of different lengths. That's why we are trying to find out the maximum length and we'll set that as a fixed length input for the model. So here that's why we are concatenating train and test data. Then we are trying to find out the max length. So here our maximum length is 52, but to be safe I have taken 100. You can take any value which is greater than 52, but understand the input in this format. So if this is your text, then you have to add CLS token at the start of the text and SCP token at the end of the text. Then after that you can do the padding. So this is the encoded values. This is the numerical representation of these tokens. You can see. Then 0 for padding. So guys, attention mark, it is given to distinguish between the padding token and the real values, including CLS and SCP token. You can see like attention mark is 1 for all these tokens and 0 for padded values. So guys, token type IDs, actually here we are using here we are using only one sentence, like single sentence classification. Token type IDs is used like when you are using two sentence classification. If you go to the BERT research paper, you can see like this is the single sentence classification. This is what we are doing, and this is the sentence per classification task. Here we will be using separate token, and also here will be mentioning, like if let's say this is another sentence, so these values will be 0, and from here we'll put another value, let's say 1. Token type IDs just to identify which one is the sentence 1 and which one is the sentence 2. So we are creating this format of input for the BERT. Here this is input IDs, attention mark, and token type IDs. We are creating a function to create BERT understandable format. So for text in text, right, we are tokenizing the text. Then here max length -2 because we want to add CLS token and SCP token, so that's why max length -2. Then we are adding CLS token. Then we are determining the pad length. Then after that, convert tokens into IDs, like encoded format, this numerical representation. Then after that, we are padding. After padding, like pad marks, this is the attention marks we are adding here, like 1 for the original sentence and 0 for pad length. Then segment IDs, this is nothing but token type IDs. So after that, we are here just appending, like for this loop will be going for one sentence at a time. So that's why we are creating a list of all tokens, pad attention marks, and token type IDs. So after this, we are converting that into a NumPy array. After the conversion, we are returning all values like input IDs, attention marks, and token type IDs. So this is our function for creating encoded text. So after that, here, so we are encoding trend files, and we are encoding test files, and we are creating our input format. So after this, we are converting the target variable into a NumPy array. Now we are deleting all unnecessary data frame. Like we have created our required files, right? So we don't need the original trend, test, and RealDF. We are deleting everything to clear off RAM memory. So here we are deleting everything, and we are doing a garbage collection. After that, here we are creating a callback function to get a precision score, recall score, and F1 score. So guys, callback function are those, like you can create a callback for your custom task. So like this callback function, we have imported this from TensorFlow. You can see like TensorFlow.keras.callbacks import callback. So we are using that one. That is our super class, right? Okay, so it's getting slow. Yeah. So we are using that one, and then we are using a custom callback function here to get precision, F1, and recall scores. You can see from the trend data we are getting these values, then from validation data we are getting these values on the end of each epoch. So here you can follow this link to get a better understanding. So now we are predicting the model. We are predicting on this data, on the validation data. Then we are creating all these scores, and then we are printing those scores after each epoch. So here guys, we have created our callback function. So after the callback function, we are creating a stratified k-fold to do splitting during training. So here we are using n splits equal to 2 and random set equal to seed. So guys, we have already selected the seed value. You can see that is 1550. So after doing that, so guys, if you go to the research paper of BERT, you can see the embedding of CLS token is used to determine the class label. So similar thing we are doing here. So this is from the research paper, and if you go to this link of TensorFlow, you can see like BERT layer is giving two outputs, that is pull output and sequence output. And you can see like sequence output is of shape, batch size, match sequence length, and 768. Guys, you can see here like CLS token is present at the start of the sentence. That's why we are getting the embedding of CLS token in this way, right? So same thing we will be doing here inside this class. Here we are creating a bot classifier class, and inside those class we have two functions, like three functions actually. One is to build the model, then another is to train the model, and the last one is to predict on a dataset. So here we are just creating a bot classifier class. We are inputting bot layer, then maximum length equal to 90. This is a default value. You can change this value during creating this class. So learning rate is this one, then epoch is 5, then batch size equal to 32. So we are just creating variables for this class, like bot layer, max length, epochs, then batch size, learning rate. Then we are creating a model list. Then here we will be saving models after each split. So we are creating scores also. Then here we are building the model. Yeah. So build the model. This is input ID, input shape equal to length of the max length. We have selected here 90, but we'll be creating a max length of 100. That is we have selected here. Yeah, max length of 100. We are creating input of shape max length, then data type equal to 32, integer 32%, then name equal to input IDs. Then same thing, we are creating attention marks, token type IDs. Then we are using all those inputs into a bot layer, and we are getting pull output and sequence output, just like this one. So after that we are taking the embedding of CLS token, like CLS output. Then we are using a dense layer, and we are using the optimization as sigmoid to get the final labeling. So here dense layer is equal 1 because we are using a binary classification, so the final value will be either 0 or 1. So after this we are creating the model, like model input equal to all inputs, like input ID, attention mark, and token type IDs, you can see. Then output equal to output is equal to this layer input. Then optimizer, we are using a SGD optimizer with momentum equal to 0.9. Then a learning rate, we are selecting a learning rate from here, this one. Then after that model.compile, here we are compiling the model, like loss is binary cross entropy. Then optimizer equal to optimizer, SGD here. Then matrix equal to accuracy. So after this we are returning the model. So when we will be calling this function, this will build the model. So after that this function will train the model. So this is the input IDs, this is the attention mark, and this is token type IDs. So guys, during training we are using the stratified k-fold that we have created here to do the splitting. So after splitting we are getting fold, that is split number of splitting. Then here, like this is the ID of training data, and this is the ID of validation data. So, this is after splitting. So we are just printing the full name, the split name. We are getting input IDs, attention mark, token type IDs, and white train for the split. Then we are getting input IDs for validation, then attention mark for validation, token type IDs for validation, and Y validation. So after this we are creating a callback function, like we have created here. You can see callback class we have created here. So we are creating that one. Then we are creating a callback object, right? We are creating a callback object. Then after that we are building a model here by calling the build model function. Then after that we are fitting the model. So after the model will be fitted, we'll be saving the model, like we have created earlier a models list, right? We'll be saving models here. So you can see where we are appending the model. So here also we are saving the precision recall F1 score into this one we have created earlier. So after that this is done for training function. So in predicting function, during predicting, first we are creating a y predict variable with the NP0 values, like NumPy array with 0 values. Like this is the length similar to the length of the dataset given. So we'll be saving our prediction in this NumPy array. So guys, we are using each and every model that we have stored inside the models list. Like here we have created a model. We have here we have stored all models inside this list. So we are using each and every model to do the prediction, and we are storing the average value. That's why we are dividing with the length of the list. So after that we are returning the prediction value. Guys, here we have created a bird classifier class. Now use that to do actual training and prediction on our dataset. So here we are selecting some hyperparameters like maximum length equal to max length, then learning rate equal to this one, epochs we are taking 10 epochs, batch size equal to 32. So here we are creating an object of bird classifier, and we are using all those values. Then here we are doing the training, that classify.train. We are invoking this function, this function. So when we do that, it will go here, it will split the data according to stratified k fold with k equal to 2. Then it will create a classification report object, then it will create a model, then it will fit, and then we'll be getting all those results, all those F1 score, recall and precision after each epoch. So guys, here the model is getting trained. So after training the model, here we are doing the classification task. So here y prediction equal to classify.predict. We are using this function classifier. Just a second. We are using this function dot predict function, this one. So after predicting on the test data, we are creating a submission file, and then this is our submission file. We have ID and target. So guys, we are done with BERT classifier. I hope you have found this video very informative, and if you found this video very informative, then please like this video and subscribe to my channel. So guys, I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.